The fires, now comes the rain. It's a race against the clock in Yorba, where people who ran from burning hills last week now face the possibility of mudslides. Gigi Garcia is live in one neighborhood where they're already sandbagging. Gigi.
Well, Jeff, we're in the Hidden Hills section of Yorba, where you can still see the smoke in the air and you can smell it everywhere. It's also very cold and damp, and rain is on the way, which brings with it, unfortunately, the threat of mudslides. Throughout the day and long into the night, residents of Yorba braced for the predicted rainstorms.
There's still a lot of fear out there. Having lost your home, of course, that's devastating. And then on top of this, to hear that perhaps, the slopes could come down on your house, that's another one on top of that. Last
weekend, it was a firestorm that tore through the city, taking with it 118 homes and leaving the hillsides burnt and bare.
We have grave concerns that with the rains forthcoming, we want to prepare for potential mud flow.
As the small city struggles to cope with the aftermath of the fire, it now finds itself in the path of another huge threat: mudslides.
Worst case scenario is say, for instance, we have an inch of rain within an hour time frame. No one knows when the slopes will go, so it's kind of one of those shots in the dark that you prepare the best you can and hope the slopes will not come down. However, it can happen, so we want to be ready for that.
With heavy rain predicted this week, the city is urging everyone who lives near the hillside to be prepared with both sandbags and an evacuation plan, just in case.
We highly encourage those, of course, at the bottom of slopes to be prepared to evacuate. At the same time, of course, we will provide notice as best we can.
And back here live, where you were looking at just one of the 118 homes that basically burnt to the ground, and this neighborhood has been sandbagged. The city wants to prevent any ash and debris from flowing out into the street. Now, if you live in this area and if you have any questions about where to find sandbags or what you can do to protect your home in case of a mudslide and heavy rains, you can call the City of Yorba-Linda's Disaster Relief Center at 714-380-0535. Reporting live from Yorba, Gigi Garcia, Fox 11 News.
Rain is on the way, and that is putting residents in burn areas on edge. They are worried that the rain will trigger mudslides. KTLA's Eric Spillman is live in Yorba with a look at some of the preparations. Eric, good morning.
Well, good morning, Cher. Yeah, people very worried here, and they've been working hard all weekend to prepare for the coming storm. You see sandbags here in this section of Yorba stacked up in front of just about everybody's home on this street. There's rain in the forecast, and the mayor of Yorba says potential damage from mudslides could end up being actually more disastrous than from the fire itself.
President, let's spread it out, then stack them and get them out of the bus.
Over the weekend, more than 100 volunteers moved sandbags to homes in the burn area here. They formed a bucket brigade to put them in place. City officials say mudslides are inevitable if it rains hard. They're trying to position sandbags and concrete barriers to channel the mud away from homes. They say that is all they can do. Hillsides in the Chino Hills State Park were left completely bare by the fire. There are no plants or other vegetation to hold the ground in place. A heavy downpour could cause the slopes to come crashing down, and residents are very, very nervous.
We're very fortunate to have a house. We just want to make sure that we survive what comes next with the rains and the mudslides.
It's going to be very difficult. We're in a place called Box Canyon here, and you see the blackened hillsides surround some of these homes here on 3 sides. So you get a little bit of rain, and all the water is going to come to this one area here. And over the weekend, city officials were telling residents, look, if it starts raining hard, make sure you are packed and ready to evacuate. And of course, these people have been through a lot. Many of them had to evacuate their homes during the fire. Now, the potential is that if it rains hard, they may have to evacuate their homes again.
Good morning to you. As Jessica's been telling us all morning long, there are some rainstorms approaching, and that means residents in the recent burn areas are on edge. They're trying to prevent possible mud flows from creating more of a disaster in their already burned neighborhoods. KTLA's Eric Spillman is taking a look at this situation in Yorba this morning. Eric?
Hey, I'm standing in Jay Hawk's backyard here in Yorba Linda. He lives in a place called Box Canyon. He is really in a position where he's potentially a danger for mudslides. Take a look around. You can see his backyard here is surrounded on 3 sides by blackened hillsides here. The fire burned all the way around his home here, and luckily his home was not damaged in the fire, but now the biggest threat is from mudslides here, and he, like a number of people in this area, spent the weekend trying to get ready for that. Come on over here, Jay, and let's talk about what you've done so far to prepare. Is there anything you can do to prepare?
I don't know if there's anything we can prepare for. We've used some of the city sandbags and things. I've been trying to water the hills down a little bit, get a little moisture back in there, hopefully try to get some seed growing back, but it's probably too soon for that. Basically, we've had a lot of help. You know, a lot of people have been helping, cleaning out our drainage ditches, making sure all our drains are clear.
Now, sandbags are okay, maybe keep some of the water outside of your house. But as we look at these hillsides here, there's a process called hydromulching where they spray this green goo on hills. It's been done in other places. Why didn't they do that here?
You know, I'm not really sure. Everything's happened so fast around here in the city. I'm sure everybody needs a lot of help. I actually have a guy coming today. A friend of mine works in construction, and they're going to have a erosion professional, which that's what we really need out here. Somebody to let us know, help us out with what to do. Because, I mean, obviously, I'm clueless. You know, I plaster swimming pools, and this is out of my realm. But
what are you going to do when it starts raining hard, if it starts raining hard later this week?
Well, you know, we're just going to watch it. We've had issues with this before. The city's helped us out. This catch.
Nothing like this, though.
No. We've, you know, always vegetation, so I'm sure we're going to get quite a bit of runoff. But hopefully, if everything's clear, and we'll leave if we see things moving.
All right. Thanks so much for talking to us and taking a look again at these hillsides. The city officials we spoke to on Friday say it's going to take a long time before they become green again. In fact, they're saying maybe 3 to 5 years. So living with the potential of flooding and mudslides here is going to become a way of life. Every time it rains here, they're saying people are going to have to be prepared. Back to you in the studio.
Eric, do us a favor. Was that a structure at the top of that hill over to the left?
Yeah. There is a house at the top of the hill. That's a home. It has an incredible view, but that's another issue. There's some homes that sit on the top of these hillsides, so those properties are also in danger potentially if the ground underneath is undermined by a lot of water. You know, that's another situation that people are trying to prepare for, and some folks have put plastic sheeting underneath the slopes underneath their homes to kind of prevent erosion underneath.
Now, anxious homeowners in Yorba Linda are also keeping their eyes on the sky and the burned hillsides tonight. They're under voluntary evacuation orders and are doing what they can to prepare for the rain. KCAL9 Orange County reporter Susie Suh continues our live Storm Watch team coverage with that part of the story. Susie?
Pat, it is just so amazing to see the resiliency of these neighbors here in Yorba Linda trying to protect their homes. Now, for days, we have watched them as they've been stacking sandbags like the ones you see here in front of their driveways to make sure that their homes are protected just in case. But tonight, we've watched the fight go on. We've watched semi-truck loads of trucks just come through this neighborhood. And as you can see here up on the hillside, they're still trying to protect these homes, putting up K-railings, putting up these concrete barriers to make sure that those hillsides that were burned in the fires recently, the mud from those and debris doesn't come down. But more than anything, we have been watching as residents have been crossing their fingers, watching for the rain to come.
Very anxious. I just wish the rain would start so we, can just get on with, get it over with.
This is what you might call a last-minute attempt.
When push comes to shove, basically do what we can.
Desperate measures to hammer out trouble before it arrives.
I'm expecting it all just to come down in the water and the mud and right up to our doorsteps, and I just hope the house will be standing when we come back.
For several days now, residents in Yorba Linda have been stocking up on preparation. Some residents are packing up, heeding voluntary evacuation orders.
We might as well leave now before the rain starts, otherwise we might get stuck in our homes or they might come evacuate in the middle of the night.
Others are simply waiting for the rain, but Julie Newell and her crew,
mud slingers,
are refusing to let another disaster take over their neighborhood.
We figured if all the stuff starts running down the drains, then our job is just kind of push it along and keep it going.
And as you can see there, K-Rail is just right up against homes to make sure that they are protected. They are afraid that sometimes when this mud slides down this hill, it could be a very dangerous situation. Officials with the Orange County Fire Authority also tell us tonight that they have extra crews on standby tonight and tomorrow, just in case. We're live in Yorba Linda tonight. Susie Song, KCAL.